Hey guys, it's Carl from Purple Misplaced. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I was scrolling through Instagram the other day and I saw a page for a company called the Shipshape Gamer. They seem to be specializing in some really cool organizers and inserts for board games. I know there are a lot of companies out there like Broken Token and Meeple Realty, but what these guys are doing seems to be quite a bit different than some of those others. Lots of unique design and artistic choices that I really liked. So today I'm going to be showing you their organizer for Wingspan. Let me get it built and we'll come back and see how it works out. Alright, so now that I get everything built and inside the box, let's take a look inside and see how everything works. You'll see first that on top is just a stack of the instructions and the gold card sheet and the starter pack for the new printing of the game. But you'll also notice here I've got the European expansion in here. This insert will hold the European expansion and I'll show you that in a minute, but let's look further inside. I think the first thing you'll notice is just the artwork on this insert is wonderful. If you take one of these out and look closer, just the quality of this printing of art on these components is really nice. And that's what caught my attention originally. But let's take a look and see exactly what's inside. So you'll see we've got 4 of these deck boxes. I've got inside this deck box is just the cards from the European expansion. Each of these has, this is half of the bird cards from the original game. This is the other half of the bird cards from the original game. And as I said, just look at this art. It's really, really nicely done. And you can't really see it in the camera probably, but it's engraved in there. It's not just printed on top. Again, this is the other half of the bird cards from the original game. And in here I've got all of my gold cards, and the Automa cards are all inside this box. You see there's still quite a bit of space inside these boxes. The website does say it will hold sleeved cards. I don't have any of my cards sleeved, but they will hold sleeved cards. And I'm assuming that it will hold the new expansion, the Oceania expansion that's coming. You might have to separate things slightly differently than I've done here, but there's still plenty of space. The one thing I don't know for sure is whether or not it will hold the expansion and sleeved cards. That might be a tight fit. We'll have to come back and check that once that happens. The next thing you'll see here in the middle are our resource boxes. These resource boxes are great. You'll see on the top there's also an engraved picture of the resources, but on the side, on both sides of the box, is a resource picture or the engraving of what the type of resource is. And one thing I didn't show you or didn't mention on the cards is these lovely acrylic doors that they put on all of these boxes. You'll see on the edge here there's a little window cut out, so they have a little bit of give. And on the side of each of the boxes there's a hole. And that little tab pops into that hole. It doesn't really lock, but it's good enough that it's tight enough that I can store this in a box and this isn't going to open on its own. Which means I can put this on my shelf sideways, vertically, horizontal, however I want to put it, throw it in a bag, everything's bouncing around. Nothing's going to come out. And the same thing on these. We've got these acrylic lids, and again, these are engraved onto the lids. Same sort of locking mechanism on these doors. The one small issue I might have is that they're a little bit tricky to slide on because there's no track for them to run into. But once they're on, they work really, really well, and it's really not that big of an issue to get them on. The other thing, when they come, they're covered with tape, and you peel the tape. This white color that you see here is the remaining piece of tape on the lid. If you prefer, you can pull all of the tape off and get more of a clear engraved look like this fish you can see here on this box. So you sort of got the choice. I think I prefer leaving the white color on. It really pops nicely. The clear one, if you pull it off, it's kind of hard to see a little bit, but it looks just as nice either way. And again, these lids are great. Nothing's going to come out, nothing's going to fall out. If you have the Meeple Source tokens, you know, the wooden resource tokens, they'll fit in here just as nicely as these chips do from the original game. Then you've got a box here full of eggs. Same thing, same kind of box. Nice acrylic lid again that locks in. And this is the eggs from both the original game and the expansion. You'll see the purple eggs in here. Everything fits very nicely. On the other side, we've got the player tokens. Now, I've just got the base tokens, so this looks really empty, and you might wonder, you know, why such a big box for so few components? But remember, companies like Meeple Source have started doing those 3D printed Birdhouse tokens or the wooden bird tokens. There's a ton of space in here. That means if you've got one of those upgraded components for the player pieces, they'll fit in here really nicely. There's not a problem for space in this insert. Now I've got the scorecards over here. Underneath those is one more box. This box actually has a wooden lid rather than the acrylic lid, which is really just as nice. It's also got those windows and has a little bit of give, so it's locking. And this is where everything else goes. There's the first player marker, the dice, all the chips for the goal cards. Everything fits really nicely in here. I'm not sure why they went with the wood lid instead of the acrylic lid, but it doesn't bother me. It looks perfectly nice. And since it's buried underneath the scorecards anyway, it doesn't really matter. One problem I do have though with this wooden lid is that it might chip as you put it in more and more. But the guy who I spoke to from the company said that if something did break while you were building it, they're happy to replace a piece as long as you're paying shipping for it. So it's not a big deal. You don't have to be too worried that when you're putting things together, anything will be broken. But one big thing that I should mention that I'm really, really happy about with these inserts is the way that they fit together. I bought some inserts before from Broken Token and they're really nice inserts. But despite the fact that most of those inserts say glue is not required, it never really feels sturdy unless I've glued them together. I can say for sure the Shipshape Gamer insert that I've built, at least this one, this is the only one I've seen so far, but I can guarantee you that this is really held well together. I mean, all of these boxes are really, really strong. I don't know what these are, but they've got sort of cut slits in here, and they pop in when they get in there. They're expanding a little maybe because of the slots, and I think that expansion in the wood allows it to hold a little bit tighter. I can't show it to you now because I've already built it, but I tell you, while I was building it, every time I put one of these together, you got a really nice sort of click, pop when they went together properly. So you can hear that click and you know that everything is locking in. This box is going to stay together really well, and I didn't need any glue at all. The last thing you'll see here is the birdhouse is sort of here in the corner. It fits perfectly well. I will mention, however, that the Shipshape Gamer also makes a birdhouse. And the birdhouse is gorgeous. It's decorated on the side. There's actually a little woodpecker on the front that taps against the birdhouse as you drop the dice in. I don't have that now, but I will guarantee that I'm going to get it. And when I do, I'll make sure to do another video with that birdhouse so you can see how that works out. But I do strongly recommend this insert. Granted, Wingspan already has those plastic trays, and the organization in the base game is not really an issue. But this just looks great, and it holds everything really well, and I can guarantee that these components are never going to come out. They're never going to fall out. It doesn't matter how I store them in my bag, how I store them on the shelf. Everything is organized very well, and it looks great at the same time. All right? All of these lids, all of this artwork, these birds on the cards, I mentioned it before, but I'll say it again. It just looks really nice. And this dark border seems unique to me. I don't recall anything else looking quite that uniform, I guess is a good word for it. Anyway, all I can say is I'm really happy with this insert. I will definitely be checking out more. I put a link to their web store at the bottom of this video. Also, I would encourage you to check out the Shipshape Gamer on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, thanks for watching. I hope you come back next time. See you soon.